Welcome to Life Pebbles. Some men are 40 and still scream their heads off when stuck in traffic. Some men are 35 and still fear commitment. Some men are 50 and still don't know how to do their laundry. In such cases, age truly is just a number. While they've garnered experience and knowledge over the years, men who never grow up emotionally still struggle in the one department that matters more than anything: maturity. These are their 7 typical habits. Number 1, they do bare minimum to get by. The first habit that many emotionally immature men share is the habit of doing nothing, or more specifically, the tendency to always do what is required of you, but never go the extra mile. Here's why the bare minimum is a sign of emotional immaturity. It signals passivity, a preference for comfort, and a lack of true effort when it comes to close relationships. It shows that he doesn't know what he has until it's ripped away from him. Relationships require pro-relationship behaviors, including social support, responsiveness, positive communication, generosity, and gratitude. These processes are not possible with bare minimum effort, yet they are crucial to help nourish a relationship. Here are a few telltale signs a man is putting in the bare minimum in a relationship. He rarely initiates plans. He displays a lack of interest in your life and hobbies. He makes you feel neglected and overlooked. He avoids discussing serious topics. This whole bare minimum business ties into something much larger, though. Our second habit. Number 2, they display signs of the Peter Pan syndrome. Coined by Dr. Dan Kiley in his 1983 book, Peter Pan Syndrome, Men Who Have Never Grown Up, the Peter Pan syndrome describes a specific pattern of behavior often found in emotionally immature men. The bare minimum plays a huge role here, but it's not the whole picture. At the core of it all, there's the unwillingness to take charge of one's life, to carry the burden of true responsibility, and show up as a proper adult. In a sense, men with Peter Pan syndrome remain children, even at an age when they should really act as grown-ups. According to Healthline, these are just some of the behaviors woven into the tapestry that is the Peter Pan syndrome. Neglecting house chores and childcare duties, hesitancy to make long-term plans, ineffective communication when it comes to relationship issues, making little effort to find or hold down a job, unreliability, and flakiness. Little or no interest in personal self-development, expecting to be looked after and not have to make any major decisions, keeping one's options open instead of making concrete choices. If this sounds like a man, it's another sign you're dealing with someone who still has a lot of growing up to do. Number 3, they're terrified of commitment. It's a bit ironic that men who expect to be taken care of also fear commitment. After all, you've got to commit to someone if you want them to look after you. But men who never grow up emotionally tend to think they can have their cake and eat it too. They can have a partner who makes their life easier, but also avoid the whole business of picking a ring, getting on one knee, and organizing a wedding. They can comfortably coast through life without making any specific decisions they might later regret, always shifting responsibility to someone else's shoulders. Commitment, at its essence, is the act of taking accountability, because if you make the choice to wholly devote yourself to something, you're also deciding to face the consequences of that choice, no matter how uncomfortable, painful, or terrifying. Naturally, it takes a lot of strength to see this through, and that's why men who haven't yet grown up emotionally usually avoid commitment at all costs. They're too scared to get behind the steering wheel of their lives and hit the gas. Number 4, they have frivolous spending habits. I once dated a guy who kept frivolously spending all his money. No matter how much he earned, he couldn't stay on top of his finances. Somehow, it just always fell through his fingers. One night out would make a huge dent in his savings, and when we went out to eat, he ordered whatever he wanted without looking at the price, even if it meant our bill at the end of the night would be quite astronomical. This kind of financial incompetence is something that many emotionally immature men have in common. In severe cases, it may even turn into compulsive spending, which can affect one's quality of life and harm their relationships. A mature man possesses the necessary amount of self-control to keep his finances in check. Number 5, they chase after novelty. Novelty is exciting, it's thrilling, it makes us feel alive. And unfortunately, it's what some men prioritize over long-term happiness. The truth is that you can't survive on novelty. You can't feel wholly fulfilled and satisfied because you'll always keep seeking more. And if you get addicted to the thrill of it all, you might destroy your relationships and your own well-being in the process. Novelty-seeking behavior is typically associated with extreme risk, impulsiveness, and extravagance, and can lead to addictions and destruction in mental health. This doesn't mean that novelty is all bad, of course. In fact, some psychologists say that couples can harness the power of novelty to feel closer to each other and strengthen their friendship, for example, by doing things together. But if a man can't go a week without an adrenaline-filled and dangerous sport, a trip to the casino, a gaming marathon, or an affair, it's another sign he has some growing up to do. Number 6. They care more about being right than about being kind. Moving on to one of the 5 pillars of emotional intelligence, empathy. Here's how you can tell whether a man is truly emotionally mature. Look at how he treats people he doesn't find sexually attractive. Moreover, consider his empathy levels in general. Is he open-minded? Does he have an inherent sense of respect for people from different walks of life? Does he always try his best to be kind? Imagine he is in the middle of a heated discussion with someone who has a different opinion. Is his main goal winning the argument at whatever cost, or is he more interested in getting to know the other person better and reaching some kind of an understanding? These are some important questions to ask yourself when you're trying to determine a man's character. Number 7, they are far too self-absorbed. Someone who is highly empathetic possesses the ability to step outside of themselves. They know the world doesn't revolve around them. A lack of empathy, on the other hand, may lead to too much self-absorption, which manifests as never making any sacrifices for the well-being of one's relationships, stubbornly clinging to one's opinions and beliefs, prioritizing one's gains and comfort over other people's, dissatisfaction or suffering, a lack of interest in others' lives, taking everything too personally. Self-awareness, empathy, self-love, and humility are at the core of emotional maturity. If a man displays the 7 habits described in this article, it means he still has a long way to go. Emotional intelligence can be taught, and the more one reflects and learns, the more likely they are to grow into the highest version of themselves. It does take effort. Growth is not easy. Personal development is a rewarding process.